21st would be the best, wouldn't it? Okay.
Right, evening
Sorry,
everybody.
I should have done that before.
Sorry.
Cameras on everybody. This is the February meeting. Lovely to see you all. Thanks for turning up. And this lovely people now. Right, apologies for absence.
Apologies from Polly Costello, Neil Ellis, Laura Sampson, Louise Seymour, Peter Tinney and David Huxtable.
Right, we can dispense with the next one because they're not here.
There's one thing that Polly asked me to mention, is a cluster group meeting coming up beginning of March in Bridgewater.
Oh.
I'll circulate a date, I think it's about 6th, Isabel, but I'll circulate a date tomorrow, but she's asked you something that can turn up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've got an item on the agenda,
Yeah.
if we think we have. Okay, any declarations of interest? Right, minutes.
We did circulate, Chairman.
Everybody seen them? Are you happy with them?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, grand. Yes? Lovely. No public participation. Good news. Any matters arising? So, sexes school. Anything, Dennis?
Well, I did what I was supposed to do on behalf of Sex's School and found out who owned the car park and did all sorts of things like that. But nothing's come back from Kings of Wessex, which was, they were looking at doing something with the coaches, but nothing's come back to me since then. But I did my little bit.
Having missed the last meeting, what was it you had to do about who owns the car park?
Well, I took the letter to Sex's School that Stephen Bloom had written.
I didn't see that either.
Stephen Bloomer.
This was a copy of that.
Chairman, yeah.
This is from the village hall, isn't it?
Yeah, this was from the village,
Yeah.
or this is
You remember?
going back quite a while ago now.
Long time ago.
Oh, was it?
But, I mean, that's the first bit. I took that to Sex's School.
That was the one that said the school might like to do something.
That's the one.
Yes,
Yeah.
they want to get some money out of
EDF, wasn't it?
Yeah. I took that to the governors, and they wanted to know things like, well, can you find out who gave the car park, who owns the car park, how many families actually cycle to the school, because I was talking about cycle routes. Would the parish council like to buy the car park?
From the school or from the village hall?
Which car park are we on about here?
Village Hall car park in Blackford.
Is this
This is what the governors were throwing back at me. Questions like this, and then they were saying we're going to have to do something about car sharing, looking at more buses, and doing a survey of pupils who are coming to school not by bus, but where do they live, and who would consider paying for buses instead of using the loop. Things like that. That was the comments that were coming back from the governors. So I was asked to look at who gave the car park, who owns the car park, would the parish council like to buy the car park. So I didn't think he wanted to buy the car park.
Not having paid for it.
And I just rolled up to the minutes, and we just went through. It was owned by Bruton Hospital Trust and entrusted in 1981 to a committee to establish a village hall. The land was not separated into hall and car park, it was just one plot of land. The car park and the hall are held by the village hall committee as trustees. Condition 3 was part of a letter to Wedmore Parish Council dated the 13th of October 1983 and signed by the then chairman of the hall committee, J. Maud, which confirmed their agreement to set up a play area on spare land and lays out the conditions and access and liability. Bruton Hospital Trust is still there, but we don't think that they wanted to have anything to do with the car park either. But we have the deeds here.
We do have deeds.
Yeah.
Yes.
They were found and they're in the safe.
Yeah.
Because I think I actually raised the point about going to the school and actually asking
Yeah.
as well about the fact that they were told to go to EDF or suggested to go to EDF. It basically seems that they didn't listen to a word that was said and come back with
long grass.
Yeah. Basically, with the bones of the matter is they need to do something about their own car park.
Exactly.
I know there's no money, I'm not saying that, but the bones of the matter is, it's their problem, not everyone else's.
Well, I don't know, you know, I think it's a community asset.
Well, it
Yeah.
is a community asset, I'm not saying,
It comes in our.
yeah.
What they were going to do
Well, we
was,
don't control it, that's our,
No, but
Yeah.
we have access to it and rights to use.
but when I was talking about the car park, they were just, the governors were just throwing
Yeah.
these questions back. But what they were going to do, they were going to go back to Kings and Wessex and sort of look at bus routes and things like that.
So did they completely no about doing anything about their car park?
it wasn't, I wasn't saying that like they shouldn't be able to use that car park, I'm just saying that they haven't, they basically have said nothing about sorting their own issues.
Well, there is now there is a committee that's set up to look at things, which includes the loop. So it is on, the agenda.
What is Luke?
This is the loop
Car
that the
park.
parents use. They come
that
in
Luke
on the,
you mean the
Yeah,
right
next
way
to-
round,
they go
next to-
up
Yes.
towards Heath House and down.
And what
Carbon
are they going to do by
monoxide
looking at
alley.
it? Are they thinking of extending it?
No, they're just going to look at it at the moment and see if they can
See if it's still there.
see if they can
Walk around.
lessen the amount of people that use it, perhaps.
I think the
Maybe
suggestion
by
was
putting another bus on.
it could take the island out, wasn't it?
Well, you can make it
They
slightly more
could
user
take
friendly.
the hedges out and just put fences
Surely
on
that's
them.
up to the school.
They could, there's a lot they could do.
But it's more that
Just
they're
needs
coming back to us every time and
do
saying,
it.
this is an issue with the car park, and it's actually saying you're doing nothing yourself.
Come on, guys. This is.
Basically,
Yeah.
I'll go back to the governors next week and I'll find out what Kings of Wessex have got to say about it. But at the moment, that's where we are. It just goes from one to the other.
Yeah.
But the governors are aware of it and they are setting up a committee to look at things like the loop and the parking. And maybe they'll take down that shepherd at the front and put room for another bus. Who knows? We shall see.
Thanks, Dennis.
Thank you.
Thanks, Glenn. Yes, well done. Thank you very much.
But it is being discussed.
Yeah. Right, zero carbon meeting. I went to that, and with a bit of luck, you should have some sort of report. Yeah. Shortest possible synopsis is maybe we ought to be paying a bit more attention to our green group colleagues, and just making sure we are aware of what it is they're on to, what they're doing. Jess had a good visit with them. I thought the visit was quite useful. But they are quite frequent, their meetings.
Every month or every other month?
I think it's every month. And I've just had the agenda for the next one. Oh, righty. It's a good one.
I'm surprised, Nick, that they haven't asked to get involved in the various proposed development options. You know, talking to developers about what they're.
Yeah. I don't know why they are. No, I can't answer that
It hasn't
question.
surfaced at all.
No,
has
it hasn't. I
We
mean,
invite them to participate in the neighbourhood plan group. And
yeah.
They didn't want to.
There's an assumption that from the Green Group that we completely agree with their aims as well,
yeah,
which
so-
isn't necessarily the case.
No, but yeah, you could see therefore it's incumbent upon us to.
They think, well, it's assumed that we should be supporting them.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that is true. And that's why
It's not
there's that.
necessarily the case.
No.
But certainly they're not supporting us very much. I think it's the point that you make in that. A bit more active participation wouldn't go amiss, but
On each of our behalves, perhaps. Yes. So.
Just to say that when we had all the replies back from the meeting on the 24th of November, the neighbourhood plan meeting, I think it was one of the top three. I went through it and numbered them all,
Yeah.
like the top one that was mentioned second. And I think number 3 was about housing, the housing being passive or zero carbon.
That's right,
or
they've been that all the way through.
all the way through the replies. So it is something that's on everybody's mind.
Yeah. Passive house is quite tricky to achieve, but yes, it is achievable.
We've got one, haven't we, at the bottom of Dando's line?
Yes, yeah,
That's a lot of money, isn't it?
yeah. Suzanne,
Yes,
how did you get on at Bagley?
Most disappointing. I thought that I was going to go to a meeting where all the factions of the village were involved, or the area, and that we were going to try and put our thoughts together as to how we could all combine with everything that we do to help the neighbourhood. Not a bit of it. It was just a Deanery Synod meeting. It was most disappointing.
It was, wasn't it?
I think I was the only parish councillor there from all round, but that's immaterial. But no, it was most disappointing. It was just another bishop just trying to do another mission, which, as Mike the Elder got up and said, I have been in this business for the last 50 years and I've seen you starting these missions and nothing happens. And I'm afraid it seemed to me another one of those. So no, waste of afternoon.
Yes, that was Saturday, wasn't it? Saturday afternoon.
Yes, Saturday afternoon.
You might be busy on Sunday. Oh, thanks for that, Sue. Did anyone manage to get to the youth meeting in Street? I know I sort of threw it open a bit late. Anybody managed to make it? It was the middle of the week as well. No? Okay, okay, fine. Financial matters?
Yeah, sorry, one
Sorry,
item
mate.
on the previous minute, which you got to find the highways, there was the speed indicator devices that were on the
Sorry, mate. I don't think it's in me. Say again, sorry.
From the previous minutes, there was an action outstanding with regard to speed indicator devices.
Yeah.
Do you want me to raise it under highways?
You were going to do something,
That's right.
and you and I were going to coordinate
That's right.
and put together something that we would make a decision on
That's
in the
right.
perfect world tonight.
That's right. Do you want to talk about it now or under highways?
Well, I haven't done anything with it. Have you?
Well, only in as much, if you want to talk about it now, only as much I went through the quotes I have and all the various options. It started to be very complicated because of all the options. So I tried to simplify it. And I wanted to just give everybody a piece of paper which shows what I think is all we want, which is a basic sign which flashes the speed up and it tells people to slow down. I don't think we want clever faces.
I think they're quite awful, those faces.
And there's all sorts of options where you can have log data, logging and all this sort of stuff. Now, it all depends whether we've got power at the pole we're going to put it on, or whether we need a new pole and solar panel. So all I've done is I've taken a typical example. I don't know what the ones were that you said were available from the county.
Well, it's what we currently have.
Huh?
It's what we currently have. Or
Did they say how much they cost?
I did actually give you those figures, but they were a bit daunting. I do actually have them with me now. There were quite a range.
Well, this one here is an example which I'll give everybody a copy of. You can pass those around, Suzanne. There's handwritten on there the part of the cost options. Just to get, I thought before I go any further, let's just see if it's a viable thing. Because I know people living in Coombatch are fed up with cars coming over there at 100 mile an hour. Keep them coming. There you go.
Any more for more?
There you go. Now, all I'm saying is that the basic sign is £690.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've got power available.
No, I think
So we need a solar kit with a battery backup system. The solar panel charges the battery, and that's the solar power bit is 690. The actual sign is 1,300. Okay, so you add that up, and then you've got the fixing kit, with the pole and all the kit to fix it to the pole is 125. Delivery set. Now, total thing for us to install with the fixing kit is 2,190.
Yeah.
So that's the basic bit of kit, solar powered. If you buy mains power, it's cheaper because you don't have to buy the solar panel, the battery, and all the rest of it.
Right.
So I just flagged that up as a. Now, if we want to go into it,
Yeah,
I can drill down and get more detailed.
I found the notes that I pulled out from last month, and the range appears to be from 224 quid through to about £1,000, something like that. But that depends on the number of units you fit and what the rest of the county do. Rob, did we ever go back to them on this one? We haven't, have we? No, right, okay.
Well, we're getting the details from the county of what they're offering in terms of.
Yeah, I think we should. I've got the email still.
Do you want me to follow up on it? Because I couldn't tabulate anything without pouring you all to tears on all the various options, you see. you know, we've had our different sizes and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have thank you signs and happy faces and, you know, it's main power, different size signs.
Just not
The
done.
original symbol sign that flashes your screen up.
Yeah.
Just
a minute, Ricky, go
I
on.
was just wondering, like, obviously that's the price for the unit, basically.
Yeah.
Then there's obviously installation. Who
No,
is?
yeah, the installation not there.
Who does the
It's just
installation?
a case of fixing it in place, really.
Yeah, but it's working off the highway.
It's working off the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick knows about this.
Yeah.
It's not. You have to have a licence to work
Yeah,
off
we
the
might
highway.
have to do that, so yeah, we might have to do that. So.
And that was the
But
strength of
also, like, then
But that's not
if
a
it,
showstopper, is it?
well, no, but you might have to have a contractor to do it, not that's a qualified contractor to.
Fine.
I'm just gonna say it might end up in another. They're gonna just
It might be another couple.
500 quid. Just
I mean,
they're
the
gonna say.
beauty of using Sedgmore was that they would do the installations,
Yeah.
and they would, they would come and go.
Mm.
Now these things are apparently nick-worthy and vandalised and
Well, the
whatever.
ones that the county use, as far as I'm aware, are temporary units, but
They
they're
are.
moving about, so they're easily nickable. If
Oh, okay, right.
But these are permanently installed, and they can be at a fairly high location, on a telegraph pole or whatever we want to put in place there. So and they're screwed on tight. You know, you'd have to climb up a ladder and get screwdrivers out or cutting equipment.
All right.
Because I've seen these around the county, and I'm not sure. Like, does county not? They're not. These aren't temporary ones. I mean, I've seen them as a fixed instalment installation. So I don't. Do county not do this, or are the
They're
same as the
stopping.
flip, or the same as flip flags? They,
They're
if we pay for it ourselves, do they not do anything?
They are now looking to us to make a contribution, and depending on the number of parish councils, the number of bits of kit, heaven knows what else. Yeah, I mean, the cost can range quite
So where
substantially.
do we get the county information from?
Why don't I give you an email?
We've got the
And then
email.
I can put it together.
Dave,
I think rather than you and I trying to
Yeah.
push it together,
But I thought,
either you
just as an
or I.
example, that's a commercial, that's £2,000. A mains one would be cheaper, and there's more available in terms of night fixed signs.
Why don't I give you the email, mate?
Dave
And-
Grabber was the chap.
Yeah, or rather, why don't Rod give you the email?
I'll send you an email
Actually-
tomorrow on Dave Grabber.
Actually, why don't I send? I would send you the email that
But
you
is it-
sent me.
The other question I had, Nick, really, is it something the committee feels is worth progressing? Are we going to spend?
How many of these units were you thinking of getting?
Well,
Just
initially,
one for
I know we've got a
the
problem at Coombatch, where they come over the riser and come down Coombatch, and most of the residents are saying the cars are speeding down here very fast. And I thought the top of the rise there, you know, near the entrance to the allotment site, that's where people first see it.
Yeah.
And
That
we
is
can buy
the
one,
worst
and we
thing.
can find out if it does help before we say, well, maybe there's another.
Yeah, so just the one basically.
Yeah, that's right. They do seem to have any fun. I know they do on me if I daydream.
Yeah, they do, they're good.
Yeah, most of us daydream, don't we? So in theory, then, in principle, it's got potential. It's all right.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I think we sort of done it. In a way, it would have been good if you and I got our act together, to be honest. But I'll hold
Busy
me
people,
responsible for
busy
that.
people.
What are they called?
Speed indicator device.
SIDs, that's what.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. Right, financial matters.
Yeah, the books balance again, Chairman, this month. I'm pleased to hear. Everybody might do the side checks tonight.
Whilst you guys are doing that, can we move on to the next one, which is Speaker for the Annual Assembly? I understand the new Chief Executive of Wedmore has agreed to come and speak for the Assembly, so that bit's sorted, I think.
Yeah.
Right, setting up internet banking.
Wow.
We had talked about this about a year ago, and we sort of moved away from it on the grounds that, remember? It was something to do with the number of signatures, wasn't it? Or
Yeah, and Salk weren't too happy with it, but now Salk have changed their position. I mean, a lot of companies you know now do internet banking. A lot of us do internet banking, I think. Bank online. We don't have a bank card here. We have a checkbook with 2 signatures, so we want to go and buy something expensive like in Curry's, like the television, which we're talking about in a minute. We haven't got a bank card to go in and buy something. So this is causing a bit of a problem, really.
Administratively, you pay by bank transfer. It'll be so
Yeah.
much nickel, wouldn't it?
I've been into Lloyd's, who are our bankers in Cheddar, and spoken to the manager in there, and he's 100% behind. He said we must do it, we should do it. He said that you can have certain levels of authorisation.
Yeah.
The clerk can sign up to £500, and after that you need 2 signatures. and the signatures are done automatically. The way he said it is, if I want to pay an invoice, I have to log in and then ring up one of you as a signatory and say, I've got this cheque to pay, can you authorise it? And you go into your account and say yes, and then the thing's paid, just like that. That's how it works. So we don't have a big session like this on every third Wednesday of the month where we're signing cheques and keeping people waiting for payment.
Flip side of it is you can get better deals from Amazon or wherever.
And I think you'd have better data available to you, Roger, you get all the suppliers listed that you've used. And you just go and-
On the downside, there was a news item last week, but I won't say it.
So I'd like to propose we set up internet banking.
Yes,
I'll second it.
All those in favour?
Okay, thank you very much.
The seconder was... is everybody okay with that?
Excellent idea.
Oh, Chairman, I think it might be... We'll just take a...
All right, it'd be better. Look, come on, can we see a vote? Thanks. Hands, please.
Oh, that looks like a majority.
All right, we have a majority. Thanks very much. Thanks very much indeed. Right, moving on again. Recommendation, Cemetery Committee. You've seen the proposed increase in fees. We're talking about June this coming year.
And the very large increase we're proposing is based on the market.
Yeah, local competition.
Yeah.
So can we have a proposer and a seconder?
We could,
Yes.
isn't this a
Second.
second though?
Thank you.
It's an
Who's-
expensive place to live and a cheap place to die.
It's still is
It's cheap, yeah.
Who would advertise that?
Well, until now, anyway.
Well, no, it still is.
We're still cheap.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Installation of dog waste bin at Blackford.
Yeah.
Lou put this forward. Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so. I
Yeah.
propose
Well,
we-
you say just do it, but in the past, people who've had dog waste bins parked outside their house get quite antsy about
They
it.
do.
We do understand that.
Yeah.
Where is it proposed to be?
Chairman, I've spoken to Louise, I've been out and had a look. Where the bench is on the bottom of Church Lane, there's no houses there at all, right on the corner by the church. A lot of dogs walking that way, and a local resident said she would love to see a bin there as well. And right by where the bench is, or down a bit from the bench towards the roadside on the corner.
On which side of the road? On the church side?
By the church side, yeah. Yeah. So you're up against the church wall.
So there's no
basically.
resident to worry
There's
about?
no residents worried about there. The cost of it will be £139 to install it, and there's a £2.60 accounting charge. There's not one in Blackpool at all at the moment.
No, well done,
No,
Roger.
thank you.
Yeah. Well done.
Okay. Suzanne, I'll pass this one to you.
Yes, I was just concerned because the finger posts are being done, but the money is now beginning to rather trickle in rather than flow in. And the real cost will be £15,000 to do, that's the estimated cost to do all of them, except there are two listed ones. One is at Sand, and I can't remember where the other one is.
Right opposite Alex.
Sorry? Sorry?
Right opposite Alex Whittington's.
The third one.
The mayor.
And so those have got a preservation order, so obviously Quantum
You
might
think they might just do that?
But that's in the future, really. But I was just thinking that as a parish council, have we considered ourselves putting some money towards it? Because it is a very well thing to be doing. As you must have seen, they look so much better when they're done. Unless we do them, they will be they wouldn't be done. They would just be replaced by something nasty and modern. So there is at the moment. They're short of between £8,000 and £9,000 towards finishing it.
Are they carrying on with the work? They're not
Oh
stopping
yes.
work?
Oh no.
So
And we're still hoping that money will
would
trickle
it
in.
be a good thing to say, we'll carry on, and then when they've run out of money and they're supposed to be done, then we revisit and say...
No, because there's only £2,500 left at the moment before we get any more money coming in. And I was just thinking if we, as a parish council, could suggest that perhaps we might give them £5,000 towards doing it, leaving them another £3,000 to £4,000 for them still to do it. Just
Julie.
a suggestion.
Right,
Can I make a
thanks,
suggestion that, perhaps we could do, this could be fundraising, something at the Wedmore Street Fair or something like that we could have some way of getting the the village to contribute?
Well, the guy who's running this doing
Some
a good job, isn't
some of the village people are contributing.
But it's something like the street
And
fair,
we have
there's lots of
seen that,
fundraising goes on, and maybe, you know, it's such a nice asset for the village, isn't it? People must have noticed them, how nice they look.
We did, when this first came up, we did sort of talk about it, and we sort of suggested that we would put ourselves on a back burner on this one and look towards the end of the money raising process with a view to perhaps finishing off. But we do seem to be finishing. How many have we got done so far?
About 7,
It's in
6 or 7. I think
Yeah.
it is.
It seems quite a big chunk of money.
We've had £5,600 donated from residents.
And it's still coming in.
Well, it came in last week. I had checks in last week.
I've got some sympathy from where Suzanne's coming from. But I think to give money at such a large amount of money at this stage
well,
might be unnecessary.
they still got £2,500 in the kitty, even with the bills we're paying
When the
tonight.
money runs out, then we should look at it.
That was the way I was looking at it, whether or not we undermine the money raising
I think
process.
I think we should contribute to that one.
Yes, I think.
How long are we going to wait until that happens? You would really like to think that this could be done this year, certainly.
Well-
He was hoping that it could be done by the spring, but it
Work
can't.
hasn't stopped with lack of money though, has it?
No, not yet.
But when it does, that's when we need to jump in and say, hey, come on, we'll pay for a couple of
Would,
posts.
would it be appropriate to make a smaller donation to keep the work going on?
Like Mike, you got comment
Yeah,
about
well,
Or actually,
I
Right.
understood it when he talked to us at Blackford last year, that it wasn't all going to be done at once, it was going to be over a few years.
Well, it's going down in dribs and drabs.
Mm.
I guess you could say it is it's more than a year since they started, I think.
No.
More than
No,
that.
it's
Right,
it's
isn't it?
not even, it was one of the ARG meetings, it's 6 months.
Yeah,
It's not, it's not bad going,
We've done very
really.
well, we've done very well.
He's done well, David.
Yeah, but I don't think
Yeah.
we need
And
to,
he's sort of doing the worst first, well, the ones, you know, where obviously...
There's one or two, just one post on, you know, which will be a couple of hundred, I think.
Yeah.
so how much per sign does it
It's
go?
different, it's between 600 and 1,000, it varies.
It's all according to how many pointers,
Well,
I think, isn't it?
why don't we sponsor a sign and say we're sponsoring a sign?
Yeah.
Maybe put it in the Wedmore News just to encourage more people.
That's what we want, a bit of
There
publicity.
has been.
Yeah.
If we do
He
sponsor
has
it,
put it in the Wedmore News, you know.
We want to keep it current though,
Yeah.
don't we, so
He
people
puts
don't
something
think
every
it's done.
month, he's putting something every month to try and catch me.
Financially we can do it, can't we? But what we don't want to do is shut off the voluntary funds that are coming in by saying it's all paid for and done.
That's what worries me.
Yeah.
It'll just stop.
Well, it wouldn't be even if you gave 5,000, there'd still be another 3,000 to 4,000.
To find.
It's a lot of money to find.
I think £5,000 is a lot of money for
Yeah.
the council, if I want to be quite honest.
Yeah.
well, he's
I
also.
think we should wait and see what money is coming in.
Can we have a proposal then, please? 'Cause we've had two considerations. Are we going to view this as a pump priming exercise, which arguably you're a bit behind the curve on this one because there's quite a lot of money being
And it
done
might be useful, if
already.
we've got funds, it might be useful to allocate some money. Can we accrue money from this year's budget?
How do you mean, mate?
Well,
Sorry.
we've got money unspent from this year's budget, as I understand it. Our financial year doesn't start until 1st of April, does it?
I would think that was probably the case, yeah.
So we've got funds sitting there probably we haven't used. So could we carry that forward, accrue it, as an earmark it as money that is available should it be needed?
Right, okay.
Yeah.
That's going to be a consideration for the
Only on the next budget.
finance
Yeah,
committee.
put it on the next budget, yeah. But accrue it from this year. I know we probably can't go
Budget's been set, budget's been agreed.
For next year, has it?
Yeah,
So
well,
it's time, sorry.
Last November.
I'm just slightly concerned, like, we've been umming and ahhing, I don't know if anything has been done yet, about the fence at the churchyard, the graveyard.
Yeah, we looked at that and
Yeah.
basically there's only a problem with it, apparently.
It did seem to get, but Jessica said there were several out there that were,
Sidetracked.
Yeah, but they inspected it and said it was fine.
yeah.
Not Tinknell's,
John Duffy.
Johnny
Yeah,
Bedford.
So that's right, no, because I obviously
Take
didn't,
the
I didn't
gate.
have something, but I was just thinking that there is other things that, because I was also going to bring up later in where it is, that are entrance to the village signs.
Can I have a proposal, please?
I propose we donate £2,000 to the finger post appeal.
Can I have someone to second that, please? So we're going to put in a
We've got a second?
£2,000.
Sorry.
That was Steve. So we're going to propose that we put forward £2,000 as a sort of a pump priming, belated
That's
pump
it.
priming,
Yeah.
to see if we can regalvanise the fundraising.
And
I'm suggesting,
advertise
I'd
it.
like to propose that we store that for at least 6 months and see how much funds come in, how much other funds come in.
So, yeah,
We got
back where we started.
over that one?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
I
okay.
didn't hear what the proposal was, sorry, Edwin.
Discuss.
I propose that we don't
Defer it.
defer it for 6 months and see what comes in.
Mate, the money's just sitting there, it's needed. is what you're saying, yeah.
Take the vote on that first.
So we have two proposals. Now the first one suggests that we take the two. We do put forward
The
£2,000.
first one, sorry, Chairman, is we have to, we're waiting for 6 months. But I'll take it on first.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're talking about the same money, aren't we? Am I misunderstanding?
No, I said we were deferring the decision for 6 months.
Right, my mistake, sorry. So we're deferring a decision
Yeah.
for 6 months.
No, I didn't.
We'll take that first.
Now, did you understand that? Because I got,
No, I seconded what Alex proposed, and I
Yeah, I
stand
know.
by that. I don't necessarily support what everyone's saying.
Well, we have to take the amendment
Yeah,
first.
fine, yeah.
yeah, okay. So we have, the amendment is to hold any money from the parish council for a 6-month period to give them a chance to do their own fundraising, and it's been seconded by Mike. Can I have
Show of hands.
a show of hands, please, on that one?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right,
Against.
so those who are against that proposal.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Well done, mate. All I was saying, sort of,
Did vote at all.
if we withhold the 6 months it's needed in 4 months, it's not going to be there, is it?
Can't have a casting vote, can I?
Nick?
Yeah, I heard that, mate. Yes. Right, I put us in the predicament I put us in last time because I didn't vote. I can't have a casting vote. So we are 5-all.
Standing orders.
So, what the hell does that mean? What do we do? Anybody, any understandings? What we need is another proposal. Maybe 6 months.
We've got another proposal already.
Well,
Yeah,
we
£2,000.
Yeah, but we can't take that one until we've sorted this one, can we?
Not really.
Well, this one's drawn, surely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it's a draw, what the hell happens when you've got a drawn situation? Does anybody have a clue?
Well, I would have thought then that that's
all
ending.
The easier way to actually, yeah, so do I. Edwin, can I ask you to amend your proposal? I think that's what we've done in the past. Would you be prepared to amend your proposal for 5 or 4 months, say?
Can I make a counter proposal?
No, you can't, it's too hard.
This is
You
what
I know. Would you be prepared to do that?
Enough of this already.
You're just being a...
Not really, no.
Thanks, Mike. Very helpful. Right, I don't...
Shall I amend my proposal?
It hasn't been long.
Amend your proposal.
I'd like to amend my proposal that we donate £1,900 to the
I don't think that helps.
Well, it means that it's been
It's a new
amended, so I
proposal.
can amend new proposals, you now vote on this before the other one.
Brand new proposal.
So I've now got a second amended.
So we accept the first
And if that
proposal.
succeeds, I'll withdraw the first one.
You can't do it like that.
I think you're running behind the curve. It just doesn't feel right, does it?
Sounds good.
It feels like a complete muddle to me.
Refer the decision to the next meeting once you've had a chance to read the standing orders.
I think that's probably
Probably right.
the better option.
Yeah.
The chairman would
There
make
was the chairman,
Yeah,
he had
there
those
possibly could
different.
be more members here than
No, shall we go on it next time? Okay, we're going to defer a final decision on this one, okay? Are you happy with that? I apologise, I probably put us into a bit of a mucking puddle there, but sorry about that. Right, finger foot. Grant, sit down! Next ones, I'll give this one to you as well. Grant for Wedmore Arts.
Was that on? Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, you very kindly gave us £500 last year towards the cost, and we have got a very exciting programme again, and we would very much welcome some money from you, if you could possibly think of it. We are actually also going to hopefully do some charitable work and sponsor a 13-year-old violinist if we make any profits. She's an exceptional child and lives in Wookie. And at the age of, how much do you want me to tell you about her? It's exceptional.
It's for the arts.
And it's for the, yes.
Yeah, the arts.
Can I propose we give them
Hang on, whoa, Ricky.
I was going to propose that we
excellent.
give the £500.
Yeah, I'll definitely. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, do we have a vote of confidence?
I'll be drawn on the next meeting. Check.
Thank you.
Let me get internet banking.
Thanks, Suzanne. Thanks very much indeed. I was going to, actually, somebody merit this worthy recipient for the Henry Butt. Is it? Do you want to do it now? Because we've got the voting card.
Do we have to turn?
Well, no, because it's all being done.
Oh, it's all on vote, yeah. And we don't say anything.
I've got one.
Just need to vote one.
Just
one candidate and there's a ballot. No, just vote for one candidate.
Are we able to speak for?
Yeah, well, I think what we'll have to do.
This is when everyone goes like,
Winner is number.
who's Joe Blogg? So
Can I have someone who's prepared, well, actually, can I have two people who'd be prepared to count these, please? And just remember when you come in, just say, could we look at, the winning candidate is number so-and-so.
if you want.
I've got Ricky, anybody else?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll do
go
it.
with that.
Have our pen, please, so I can
Take them when you come.
You think about carbon neutral?
I know.
This one can
God should make
Letters on there.
Meanwhile, well,
Everybody in? Is everybody in?
Yeah, I've got one.
If there's
anyone standing these with Ricky?
a tie,
Sir? Okay.
if there is a tie, we'll have to think again.
Meanwhile, whilst they're doing that, can we move on to the next one, please?
Chairman, yeah, it did. Only twice.
That's you.
So 11 of us?
Yes.
Oh, I don't want to go because I want to take the neighbourhood one.
I'll go.
Sorry? Alright,
Because the next one is the neighbourhood.
well, you can just do it there, you don't have to be a million miles,
All
away,
right,
you can still
okay.
listen.
Oh, I see.
It's just a case of counting up, really.
Yeah.
Neighbourhood Plan Committee, consider
Yeah.
any proposals?
No proposals, Nick. Just since the last meeting, as you know, we've now aggregated all the comments we got back from our last roadshow and the various topic areas like highways and byways and housing and education, employment. So we've been allocated to individuals who are drawing up a policy document with objectives based on the feedback we've got. And that will be available probably in about March.
They're not seen.
Oh,
Which
no,
we're going to put together in a pack to send around
Oh, right, sorry.
people to see if they're still happy with that one.
There, isn't it?
We'll put it into a document.
Oh, sorry, no, I just looked at this different.
It's, these are smaller.
We employ the help of the
That's the big one.
you might have heard.
Yeah.
The same one.
So what we're doing is trying to validate it and various decisions that have been made to see if they've been done correctly. The format's been looked at, see if it's been formatted correctly. And with Sue's help, I'm trying to put together a highways one. And I was going to ask that we have a highways meeting, maybe down to the Parish Council highway meeting as well. Committee like that.
That's the winning part.
But once it's drafted, we'll send it round to the Parish Councillors to have a look at for feedback.
Where's your
Is that about right?
Sorry.
We're going to polish up the highways one. That's what we'll always the highways meeting.
I wasn't at that.
Chairman.
Can I ask something about the neighbourhood plan, please?
Yes.
I've had a parishioner ring me very concerned about planning, prospective planning, but sort of the back of Hog Lane, and I think I mistakenly said that there was a meeting about it but it's actually, the meeting is about the other side of the road, isn't it, opposite the school?
No,
No,
both sides.
Oh, both sides.
You've got to do it both, yeah.
It's
Right.
the same development.
And just to,
Okay,
just to
I
tell you
didn't
what
know
we've told them, because there is
Yeah.
some concern, because when
Yeah.
we met with Strongbox,
Yeah,
they got a big red line around the whole section of land next to the school, and we told them that we wouldn't be at all happy with that whole plot being developed.
right,
We need about, looking at our total requirement that is in the local plan,
yeah.
there's probably need about 30, 40 houses.
Well,
And we
it's
said
slightly
about-
more now, isn't it?
Could be.
Yeah, so
So,
50.
we thought about a third to a half of that field would be the
Are
maximum
you
support.
talking about the field behind, next to
Next to
Quad
Quad Lane, between Quad Lane and
Yeah,
school.
that one.
That's right,
Yeah.
So you think how many that might run?
Probably 30, 40.
30 to 14?
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head, but
Okay.
they should know that it's in the documents.
Yeah, well,
Tell them to look on the interweb.
Okay, and what do they look up?
Go on Wedmore Neighbourhood Plan.
Wedmore Neighbourhood Plan, okay,
It's
and I
got,
told
it's
them.
got all the feedback and comments, and there's Strongbox are making a presentation of it
I
as well.
told them about
So
that,
tell them to
yeah.
go to that.
Yeah,
Ninth
Maybe
of the
it'll go
third.
better.
Alex,
okay.
Can I ask a question as well? Something that's been worrying me for the last couple of weeks is, my understanding is that the neighbourhood plan sets out how we plan to develop the village over a period of time. And what I'm seeing at the moment is developers rushing forward with proposals that will complete the whole thing, actually before the neighbourhood plan is in place. And I'm getting slightly worried about that. And I'm feeling in need of some professional advice, possibly from Bob Selwood, about the implications of these applications coming in before the neighbourhood plan is in place, and whether that will have the effect, if they are approved, of giving us a commitment to another 100 houses or something, or whether there is a possibility, or indeed a probability, that if we complete our allocation of, shall we say, 100 houses in the very first weeks of the neighbourhood plan, then they turn around and say, well, in the next 10 years, then you can have some more. That's a concern.
No, the local plan is going to be cast in stone by, I think it's about September. And that'll have the number in it, which I don't think has changed since we heard from them last. With regard to individual companies or landowners or developers putting in plans, we can't stop them.
No, I know, but Bob
So
Selwood...
Nick did say that if we were fairly advanced with their neighbourhood plan, they'll take that into consideration for what it's worth. If you take Holdenhurst as an example, they're going to rush forward now with their application.
Why are they all rushing forward? It's
Well, they're
spelling
not
of
just
rap.
rushing forward in terms of development, they're rushing forward in terms of getting local consensus and putting applications.
Before the neighbourhood plan's been sorted out. I remember Bob Selwood saying it would be much more convenient if they waited until the plan was
And we've
set
asked-
out. And
and
I
we
don't
asked
really
them to do
understand
that.
why it would be more convenient, what the implications are.
Ultimately, I think, is it not more so, the only real gain will be the extra seal money. We'll have some influence on the sites, but real gain to the parish council and the village is going to be the seal
And
payments.
affordable housing.
But yeah, we're going to have a level of affordable housing in any site over 11, aren't we?
Yeah, but
I mean,
that's
we
why
will
the
be able to
neighbourhood plan
stipulate.
is chosen.
That's why
Sites
that's
over
why
11.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that you would have the larger sites to then incorporate some,
Yeah.
but
But in terms of what Alex
I
is
mean,
saying,
I think
I think we've had an email from, I think you raised something along those lines, wasn't it? Didn't you?
Which
You
one,
and Bob swapped emails along these lines about this, didn't you, recently? I sent you an email
About what, mate?
about what Alex is saying, you know.
Well, no, he's quite right. Alex is quite right. I mean, this has been a concern for quite some time, and I think
Yeah, I mean,
he's right. There is a rush.
Bob Selwood has commented on this, isn't he? In the reply to you, I thought. I might be wrong.
Don't recall that, to be honest.
I'll have a look at my email.
You know, it's bound to be a rush
Yeah.
because I think they are trying to jump the gun.
But they would only do that if there was a commercial advantage to them.
Yeah.
So if there's a commercial advantage to them, the flip side of the coin is a commercial disadvantage to somebody else, and I just want to know what it is.
Well, just a minute, just to put Holdenhurst into perspective, because the neighbourhood plan is no longer backing, or is not going to back the Holdenhurst single plan, it would back the joint plan with the affordable houses going on the Arms Trust land, and the entrance into that from the car park, but they're not prepared to work together, so we as a neighbourhood plan are not prepared to put that forward because of it being refused twice.
But it doesn't actually stop them putting it
Mm.
forward.
No, it doesn't, but we're not putting on them because it's been refused twice and it's been sent to appeal twice.
So are you saying then that if the neighbourhood plan was in force or taken account of, in the words of the young man from Sedgwick, before the application went in, then because there's a neighbourhood plan would not, it wouldn't fail. It should fail.
Well, not necessarily.
So that's,
But it shouldn't.
but that's why they're doing it. Though Holdenhurst people are doing it
That's
before the
definite.
neighbourhood plan is fully formed because they don't want the neighbourhood plan to oppose it. Okay, so what about the other one then?
Now, the other sites,
The site next to the school?
the other site, the site next to the site opposite the school, they do appear to make a lot of effort to comply with the thoughts of the objectives of the neighbourhood plan group and the parish council. It remains to be seen whether they do come up with the goods. I mean, as you say, they're commercial, they want to maximise
And
their...
they're not naive, they do this every day of the week, so they know how to screw a profit.
But bearing in mind, we've got to have houses, and we want some affordable housing, we want the right type of housing in the right place.
In the time scale, that's my concern.
There's nothing we can do about it.
No, there's nothing you can do about it.
I'm not
And
saying
I
there's
don't
nothing.
think that we can hold Holdenhurst to ransom because the almshouses don't want to go in with them.
No, we're
You
not
can't-
holding
It's the other way round.
We're not holding them to ransom.
It's the other way round.
It is, neither way you look at it, it's both.
No, we're not.
Because the almshouses are not ready to go ahead.
Yeah, but this isn't, I mean, it's not answering Alex's question. I think you're right, I think there is a bit of a rush, and I'm sure that
I
it's,
think you need
if you
Bob
walk forward.
to
But I'm not
speak
quite
to you on
sure,
this.
you would like a suggestion.
The problem is I'm just smelling a rat. There's a sudden surge of developers, all of a sudden very, very interested, just before the neighbourhood plan comes in. I know that these people are commercially very savvy, and I know that they were doing it for a reason. I don't understand what the reason is, and I think it's...
Well, the
But
neighbourhood
the
plan actually
actual
provoked it.
process, the
neighbourhood
process
plan
of the
group-
plan.
The neighbourhood plan group provoked the situation really by calling for sites.
Yeah.
Because the one next to the school wasn't considered by the owners of the land
No.
until we said to the developer, why are you only looking at that little bit?
When is your next neighbourhood plan group? meeting?
March
6th.
March 6th.
7 o'clock here.
I think I'll just go and ask Bob.
Bob won't be at that
I
meeting.
think he's not at that meeting.
He'll be there.
Mick Tate will be, who's our consultant.
Yes, legal,
I'll bounce some thoughts off of.
certainly more legal.
Stuart Todd's going to be
Stuart
there
Todd,
as well.
Stuart Todd, that's what I'm talking about, who's it does say?
You said
Yeah,
I think it
No,
is.
Stuart
Stuart Todd,
Todd.
sorry,
Stuart
not
Todd.
Mick Tate, Stuart Todd, yeah, not Mick Tate.
Okay, thank you very much.
He'll probably be able to answer your questions.
Right, that was one of my points, was I was going to question, was the strong box to the east of the school. I looked at that and I thought that you were hoping to reduce the numbers, but you seem to be saying,
We haven't seen what they're proposing yet, you see.
yeah, it's some, I had
Well,
seen
they keep that
separate.
red, they keep that red line around that whole plot of
I was
land.
going to say, there's a little bit, from what they came demonstrated to us the first time, that red line is a little bit misleading, because they were saying that like most of that, all the orchards they were going to maintain as orchards and like free space and all things like that,
Yeah, yeah.
which they are developers, and if they get away with it, they'll do it. But from what they were, it's sort of a little bit misleading. That, I'm not saying they're going to say that they're going to build houses on the entire plot as such.
But my question was merely, is 40 to 50 about the sort of numbers you were talking about?
That's right.
It is all right, is it? I was feeling that.
I would have said.
I think it's 20 on one side of the road, and about 40 on the other side.
Okay, fine,
With
alright.
Cross Farm and Holdenhurst counts, even if it's very expensive.
Yeah,
it's
but
hard
you
count.
you'll
So the
lose,
numbers.
yeah, if you lose the arms.
Can we move on, guys? Issues and questions? No? Cool, move on quickly. Very quickly. So, sorry, Judy.
Correspondence, yeah. On my minutes at home, I had a letter from Trevor Prideaux about the housing, the housing plan at Cross Farm, which I think really should be read out because I think.
Can you tell me the number? You've got the agenda there?
Well, it's not on the bottom here. It's not there. It's just on the next
Is it about asking the parish council to enforce the strict conditions? He's written to Polly about this, and Polly has written on to
Duncan Harvey.
Was it Duncan Harvey? Basically echoing it.
I
Have you
think he
seen?
made some good points. Yeah.
Yeah, and Polly's also said that she's going to make sure that
Where did you find this letter?
It
I haven't seen it.
Well, it was on, it
I've got
was
it here.
sent to us.
We've got the letter in. I think I sent, did I send you
Oh
the
yeah,
email?
I've read it. I just thought we ought to discuss it a bit because I thought you made some good points.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, I think you're right. He did formally write. He actually formally wrote to the parish council. The parish council contacted Ed so-and-so from Acorn and raised his concerns about the distribution. It was actually the second time we'd done that with Ed. And Ed had come back to say, look, this is all going to be down to discussions with Sedgemoor. Holly sort of interceded. Well, she didn't intercede. She sort of just came in between the exchange of the emails, and she went to Duncan Harvey and said, look, I'm worried about this. And Duncan Harvey's come back to say they will be pepper potted, I think is the expression.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yes, the answer is yes, we believe it is. And I think I sent you a copy of the response from Ed, so, because you'd raised it at the council.
I think this has come up because when we had that demonstration done in the village with the people, they were not scattered enough around the site. They were built, these low-cost houses were built in like blocks, and that is wrong. You go to look at any of these estates now, you can tell which is social housing and which is private, and it shouldn't be like that.
It's got to be said that I must confess I fell into that trap as well. And it looked to me that all the affordable housing was in amongst the 2-bedroom houses. But in point of fact, I've gone back through the 106, and there's bungalows, there's 2 bedrooms, there's 3 bedrooms, there's 4 bedrooms, and logically I think they will be pepper potted throughout the site.
So are you saying that they've changed the distribution of houses since the demonstration?
Demonstration?
Since
No,
the
no, I don't think so.
consultation. So you're saying that at that consultation, that presentation, that represented adequate pepper potting?
No, it didn't.
It wasn't
It didn't.
obvious
It
what
didn't.
was.
No. I told them so too.
I bet you did.
So did I.
But the question is, have they changed it since then?
No, we haven't seen anymore.
Is that what you're saying, that the man said they will
Duncan
be
Harvey is giving assurances. Ed is saying that this is subject to conversation. Conversation with Sedgemoor. Sedgemoor are saying we are confident that they will be pepper potted.
We have
Do you see where I'm feeling for here? Are they saying, are Sedgemoor saying that it is adequate as it is, or that they expect it to change from the last time it was shown to us?
I don't think that the documents that were presented in the village hall necessarily identified which were the affordable houses.
I thought they did.
Yeah, they did.
That was the concern that Trevor had and Jess has as well, and I had.
You see, if Acorn have their way, they'd have them all in one group, because it's easier to manage.
And they'll all access on the Lurber and the rest of the site.
Yeah. But you see, and we insisted when we met Acorn here once, wasn't it, that they had to be pepper potted around the site.
Yes.
And that's what, I mean, I wouldn't
I
support.
can't answer your question.
Okay. So it's something perhaps we should watch.
Yes.
I think it's definitely something we
We've got
have to
no
watch.
clear indication from anybody that they're going to change from the format that they had at the presentation.
That's right.
Do they have to bring the plans before him?
Yes.
There's no application on it yet.
Well, actually, say that again, sir.
Do they have to bring the final plans, have to be brought before us?
I don't think they do.
No,
Sedgemoor
no.
district.
Before Sedgemoor, because it's been passed, and then
Outline.
yes, but they only got to put full details in, and that needn't come back to us.
And more importantly, if they get within the March deadline, it's still our application, isn't it?
Yes.
Are you saying that if once Sedgemoor get their application, they don't need to bounce it off the parish?
Not for the final designs.
The reserve matters.
Reserve matters, yeah.
As we are the applicant, does it not have to come?
No.
No.
Quite the opposite, actually. Because we are the applicant, it doesn't come to us.
We ought to ask to see it somehow, don't we?
I think,
Well, I think we will.
I think Acorn will be sympathetic to that.
Yeah.
I think
Well, maybe we need to ask
not very long.
ask
I'm going to say we need to go.
Can Ed come
Next week.
Will we know when they've sent the plans in? Yes, we will do, because we should see them on the computer.
We should see them there, and with a bit of luck, Polly will keep us appraised of.
Polly's the girl, really, isn't she?
Yeah, she has, I've read her letter where she says to Trevor that she will
Yes, I agree.
keep her eye on it and work with Duncan Hardy.
Yeah.
So what I'll do then is I'll drop Holly a line and say that we do our concerns about this, and because you're keeping an eye on it and because she comes in the news.
Yeah, that's fine. That sounds good. Thank you. Issue correspondence. Has anybody got any further questions on correspondence? Oh yeah. Somerset County Council are doing a library services consultation. There's a guy by the name of Mail, I can't know what his first name is. But anyway, he's written to us on behalf of the Friends of Shadow. Unfortunately, the meeting was last night. Sorry about that. But the consultation is open until the 22nd of April. So go aboard the Sedgemoor and make whatever comments you want on the Sedgemoor's library consultation. Okay. There were a couple of things that came up with through email, which I don't know how much interest it would be. You heard about the Perrow Farm thing, I take it.
Was that, I was just going to say planning.
Strong box. No, I think. Did you go to the Silver Refresher course?
No, I didn't.
Did anyone go to the Silver
I was
Refresher?
down to go,
It
but I
was
couldn't
Stephen
go at the last
Dale's
minute.
video.
Right, okay, Neil wouldn't have gone. It's just that there's been a load of slides put out for the Sill. Just wonder whether it's worth having a copy of those, if possible. We don't need hundreds of copies, but just a couple of
Yeah,
copies.
circulate it'd be good.
Yeah,
They're not in PDF form or something.
I'd think circuit email all on.
Yeah.
yeah, and then we can put on that.
Thanks.
All right, sorry. Yeah.
The impact of recycling plastic waste in China, what's the outcome of all that?
Well, they're not having it again, are they?
They won't take it anymore.
Oh, I know they were. Somerset Waste was just telling us
No,
that.
it doesn't.
Oh, I see,
All
they're
in
not
Somerset,
saying what they're going to do about it.
I think with the Somerset, I think it doesn't impact too much on Somerset services, does
The
it?
fact that China's not taking most of any more rubbish over there, it's going to impose more work on the Somerset Waste Park to deal with recycling. And they're looking at recycling even more items than they are at present. So you things like your cartons and that sort of thing which you have to throw away.
Are not Somerset Waste after, when was I chairman of the council? 2000 in Sedgemoor when I went, and Cardiff City Council wanted all the councils around the Severn Estuary to go together and built a big centre, Avermed, on that polluted site where it used to be, and nobody was interested. But isn't now Somerset Waste putting in for a big incinerator and that there? I think that's what I read in the press, and I think that's what's going to happen, because today with modern scientific stuff, there'll be no pollution, it'll just be steam.
Suzanne?
That's right, it'll be steam.
Just out of interest, the Green Wedmore agenda has got a guest speaker who's talking about reducing plastics. So if you are interested in that, it's on the 5th of the...
carry the supermarkets every time.
When's it, 5th March?
It's the 5th of March.
Oh,
It's at the George.
yeah.
The meeting starts at 7. The speaker is at 7:30. That's if you're interested.
George.
Is
it the
Alex,
George?
it's at the George, yes it is. Somebody else.
On the 7th of March.
5th March.
And Alex, I think you've got the same problem as I have, which is play area inspectorate. They've had a little look. And a bit of
We want to do where are we?
this is just some stuff. I'm dealing with it under correspondence, and it's just something that I've had an email about. I'm just getting you guys up to speed with emails that have come through. So that's going to be something we're going to have to think about the next meeting, I suspect.
Do you want to just tell members what's happened?
Yeah, all right. Going back to
People looking.
the people gagging to find out. Sorry.
We've had the play inspections carried out, the annual play inspections for the 3 play areas, and there is work to be done on everything. Bedmore's okay, it's fairly new, but the other 2 need quite a lot of remedial work. That's serious, but remedial work to be done. And I circulated the reports, which are quite lengthy, to Alex and Nick, and to Neil for the 3-play areas, pointing out that it needs to be done. There are some insurance implications if we don't get it done. But I don't think it's the parish council's responsibility to actually get the work done. It's the play area committee. But I think there lies the problem with the committees, or lack of.
Anyway, next
I
time.
have a different view of that. I think it's the parish council's responsibility to get the work done, and the play area committee assist them by fundraising locally. But
Next time.
ultimately, the responsibility is the parish council.
We need to discuss that later.
Well, I'll put
next
some on the
time.
agenda next time, because it's quite a lengthy, isn't it?
I don't think it's for safety, I think you have to step in and do it, otherwise you have to close the play.
Yeah, very nice question. Right, can we go for committee reports? Cemetery.
Oh yeah, we had a meeting, on 10th of February. It was too cold, so we didn't meet at the cemetery, we actually had the meeting here. But I expect you...
Too wet.
Alright, it was wet. But I expect you've noticed that lots of the hedges have all been cut back. But anyway, cemetery fees, they wanted to put it up by 20%, which we've talked about. Sue and I put together a proposed schedule of work for the cemetery, so that Will would know what he's got to do every week, what he's got to do every month, and what he's got to do every year. And we've sort of put this as being, will be reviewed after 1 year, just to make sure that he actually does it correctly and that we're happy with it. So that's what's being proposed, and I think he's probably quite happy with that. It's saying you were going to take it to him. We think that the cemetery does need more work on it, sort of some sort of demarcation area between the edge of the car park and the lower line of graves. So we're looking at that, because perhaps put a little hedge or a row of posts and a chain or something. But it looks very bleak out there at the moment. You've got graves, car park, just needs something between. And also right at the bottom where Tom's got his cows, along that bottom there, perhaps putting something to sort of soften that area down there, so that we're just looking at things like that.
We can't put trees in.
Well, Rod and I went out and looked at it, and there's only about 2 feet. It's not really enough to put trees in, so I'm not sure what to do there at the moment, but to think about it a bit more. Have you got any ideas? Yeah, so we talked about that. We've got the quotations for painting the railings, which you were quite happy that we went ahead and did all that. So yeah, hopefully that'll get done very soon.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. Facilities, allotments, footpaths?
The hedge been cut, just a bit of tidying up to do when the weather comes good. It's a bit too...
Yeah, he rang me this morning to say he's got another couple of hours work clearing all the rubbish off it, which he'll do hopefully say the next couple of weeks. Won't be charged for that, so I think it's only included in the building pay tonight.
Grand job.
Mike, is there any plans to do anything about the pathway down through the, because it's getting extremely rutted to the extent where it covers the ground down almost.
Yeah.
Anything to do like that? Scalping or something?
This comes up every year.
Yeah. There's fors and against, Steve, really. Put scopings there. They wouldn't be, well, they would last, but they wouldn't necessarily, at the moment, they're, because of that ridge what's in the middle, that is holding them in the track. So if you raise the scoping level and they go off of that, they'd be into the allotments, which they wouldn't get out without a tow. And as you go further on down the brow, which, you know, they cut that with their lawnmowers, which makes it nice and looks nice and tidy. If they put scopings on it, that wouldn't get.
That's the first sort of 100 yards really, until you go down the slope the other side.
Yeah, I know where you're talking about,
Yeah.
but I feel that if you raise the scoping level and they reverse off of that, they'll be into the allotments and want to tow. But
it's up to them, mate.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just that you can't get car access down there.
No.
It gets much worse. I thought there's some cars on the other end.
But for everybody seems to think that they're entitled to drive everywhere they want to go. and
No, it's
get
only
to.
when you've got a load of gear, like, you know, you've got a load of compost to take down there and stuff, it's
You know, there's
a
no,
long way to lug it.
the allotments don't, nowhere near, their rent don't cover nowhere near the expense,
Right.
you know, yearly, let alone what we spent there this year, so
Any idea what the scalpings are costing on that? Yeah.
they're about £10 a ton,
And how many tonnes would you need? 100 tonnes?
at least, I should have thought.
So about £1,000. Thank you.
Couldn't you, you know, where you've got this sort of raised bit in the middle that you can't sort of,
Yeah,
couldn't you just cut that off? Could go down there, chop that bit off there.
that could happen, yeah, and then that's why it's holding them on that two tracks, if you like to say. If you're going back without, you're reversing in your mirrors, you know, a good driver should be okay to stay on the track, but if that, with that ledge there, if they go off on that,
Well, it's getting so high, that ledge now,
you're touching the bottoms of their cars and stuff, yeah. It could,
Maybe just addressing it. I don't know.
Just skim that off, make it flatter,
yeah,
but the cars don't.
that could happen.
Yeah, that'd be.
You just run the grading bucket down through the middle when he's there next
Yeah.
fortnight's time. We put it on one of the allotments. It's not being used, and the next person to dig it in when it 10 years time gets rented.
Is that an option, do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Could do
that actually that sounds like a
Would answer the question, wouldn't it?
Might be expensive a little bit,
I
but
think we'll bite the bullet on that, I suspect.
I'll see to that then.
Thank you, mate. Finance general purposes? No. Housing, Neil Ellis. I don't know, anybody heard how Neil is?
I tried to read the day, I couldn't get a reply, so.
He's home, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
What's happened to him? Is he on operation?
Yes, he is home.
He's home.
Oh,
Yeah.
quite ill, isn't he?
Oh, he's very
Yeah.
good. He's had a nasty back infection, shall we say, yeah.
There's everything going on, that chap.
He's got an infection in his spine caused by standing on
We think, yeah.
a nail in his foot.
Housing, there was a meeting, 13th,
13th,
actually. Being able to put out some minutes, we'll just
I'll take that today, to all the housing.
Okay, so I would suggest you have
There's some draft ones on the website, but anybody wants to see them, you want to, I got yours in the office.
a look at the procedure, you know, who was it? Lucida? No, I don't think it was.
Yeah.
Lucida presentation. Highways, car park and brook.
I think we need another meeting, Mr Chairman. We've been having for a long time. And I've got some correspondence from various members of the community which I'd like to bounce off people. In additionally, as you know, the Naval Plan Group is putting together a policy and objectives document, and with Sue's help, probably get that finalised in the next week. And I thought the Parish Council Highways Group should have a look at it and then give it a once over as well. So I'm suggesting the 8th of March if there are people available. Are you available soon?
That's what day of the week's that?
I think it's a Thursday. Would you prefer a different
Oh,
day?
I got my beekeeping course that night.
You on highways?
I'm on.
Alternatively, we could do.
Just out of interest, the winning candidate for the Henry Butt was number 6.
The last one on the list.
Who was that?
Jesus, you're nice.
Oh, that's right.
That's good. Oh, I'm so pleased.
Right, moving on.
Just quickly on
So
that
is
as well, I
that
haven't.
okay then?
So which
Members of the
one?
Highways Committee, if you're here, is that okay with you for Thursday?
It's the 7th till I look on a calendar, I wouldn't know.
I haven't completely forgot my drainage issues.
Oh,
James.
right.
No, I have got.
Had any response yet?
No, no, I've got a lot of. I've done a lot of doodling on Google Maps, so I'm in the process of trying to PDF them all, and I was going to send them out to the council and see if they. I've just done areas that I know at present are flooding excessively and repeatedly. I think, yeah, that's it. And then from that we can work back to being something that we might want done yearly or 6 monthly or whatever David said. But some very grumpy people phoning me about
I'm still
block
on
trains.
highways and car. I'm always still on highways and car park. Where are we with the lighting? Will be
Which one?
The car park lighting.
Next week. Next week.
Oh, it's been done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay. Planning.
No,
Well, yeah, just
The
to
meeting.
say, I went down to the to Bridgewater with Polly and Judy Rogers, and fortunately, because it was so delayed, I had to leave because I had to pick my daughter up from the airport. But they are going to pull down Perrow Farm and rebuild it. They took absolutely no notice. And what we said about history, they weren't interested.
I understood there's a meeting on the 27th for Planning Committee?
Tuesday, next Tuesday.
Right,
The agenda's be out tomorrow.
okay.
No response from
No
council,
paper.
by the way.
Say again?
No response from county, by the way,
Okay.
on the highways issues, the
Yeah.
white lining, etc., etc.
Right, reports from representatives on committees. Isle of Wedmore News?
Yes, we had a meeting of the Isle of Wedmore News. Yeah,
Last week.
last week, 15th of February. In regards finance, it's fine. They've got about 17,500 in the bank. Had to pay £540 tax. No bad debts. Advertising's going well. Everything seems to be okay. They gave out some distribution of some money. People had written in to say they'd like a bit of money from us. So we gave Wedmore in Bloom £600, Tuesday Club £600, and Sexy School £600.
They do have, they are going to put, there is some more money, isn't there?
There is.
They're going to
They were going to give away 3,000 in total, so there is a little bit more money there. So we're going to see if anybody else would like to put it in the magazine again. Requesting a few more bids in the next edition. So we'll have to give away some more money. Yeah, so that was it.
Play areas, I think we've kicked that into the long grass for the time being. But we're going to have to look at that.
Well, the next month agenda.
Well, all I was going to say is Blackford Play Area Committee is dysfunctional. There's one half-nominated chairwoman and me.
And yeah, it feels
No real ability to raise funds.
feels similar, I'm afraid. Salk, you got anything from Salk?
Nothing.
No. Playing fields? No, Laura.
On the playing fields, is this the outfit that we paid £15,000 to and we haven't heard anything about what happened to it?
20, and that's why I stepped down.
20.
No, we got feedback from Laura.
Yeah, we did. Laura gave her, you weren't here.
I wasn't on it.
And neither were you.
Fairly comprehensive.
They're hoping to start, aren't they, as soon as they know they got the
They're going to build the building, but not completely upstairs.
Upstairs.
There's shell upstairs, but not enough to do the ground floor. They're waiting on a major grant from the Football Association
FA.
Charity, or,
Yeah, the FA.
which they've been told to apply for, so it sounds like they're going to get that. And
They've been actively encouraged to
Yeah.
apply for it.
I think it's all systems go up there, really.
Okay.
I can tell you, I think the FA have agreed it, because they got so many young players up here. Yeah, that's what was all about.
I think girls' football.
Yeah, and the
as
girls,
well.
yes, it's all because of
Very-
youngsters up there.
Village halls?
We paid the first deposit of the seating tonight, you'll see that on the agenda, the tiered seating. So it's, and we've had a donation from the Wedmore Arts towards that as well, thanks to Suzanne.
There's more coming.
That's good.
Well,
Right.
yes. I'm getting sponsorship for the seats. I'm asking £30 for anybody who'd like to sponsor a seat.
Matters of report and items for the next meeting. I'm going to can I just dive in a bit quick there? Thanks to Alex, we've had a look at the options for planning into the future. You know, the fact that we're not going to get the paperwork anymore. And the suggestion we have two suggestions. One is that we go for a tally, and something called a Chromecast. And so we're going to have to buy a small laptop and then cast the Sedgemoor page onto a tally. There is an alternative which is quite attractive but rather more expensive, which is a sort of a projector, a ceiling mounted projector, which we'll put onto the screen. That's interactive, which is sort of a nice idea, but probably...
That sounds the best option, isn't it?
Well, I don't think we need it interactive.
No.
Don't think so.
Projector sounds a good idea.
It's £3,000.
You can point to it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't have to have it interactive.
What are we going to interact with?
Yeah, now here it is, this is a bit that we're interested in, that sort of thing. Yeah, I guess we could do that on the laptop and just, highlight it on.
The projector would be useful for all children.
Can I just say that if you go for the Chromecast option, you don't need to buy a laptop, because anybody's laptop or iPad will work.
Fine. Yeah, just that it did occur to me that perhaps wouldn't be a bad idea for the to have one. I think
I think it's a good idea.
Think you do it on an
It's a
iPad?
terrible idea. I mean, you have to do all the tech support on it and things like that.
Well,
License fees for software. No. Well, if you buy, if the parish council owns a computer, or an extra laptop, what's the point? Everybody's got a laptop.
Is everybody willing to make sure that one always here we need it?
Well, it's the planning, it's the guy in charge of the planning committee, isn't it? It's his
There's other
job.
applications.
Mm. I mean, if you elect someone to be chairman of the planning committee who hasn't got a laptop, then you can apply to the council
If
and
I
buy
had a laptop in
one.
front of him, it might save him a lot of haggling with paper. And you just project stuff on a screen. So there it is, have a look at that.
That's the idea, yeah. But either of these solutions will do that.
Right.
One of them uses the Wi-Fi to little device on the back of a television
Yeah.
that allows you to project the whole surface of your laptop or iPad onto the screen. And the other is you have to do it to the projector, which would either have to be wired or Wi-Fi if you have a Wi-Fi projector.
Wi-Fi's the answer.
We got Wi-Fi.
And Wi-Fi
Yeah,
projector.
I'm saying Wi-Fi projectors, they haven't got the link any wires.
Now, at the moment, I'm looking at. Well, I've just done a quick search on Which, and there's a number of preferred large TVs, not as large as Alex's TV, it has to be said.
No, it's quite impressive.
Now, 75-inch screen is, but it works very well.
It's a cinema.
It's like Yoda in his office.
How would it work? Why would you get, say, for example, plans from Singapore?
Yes,
And then how would it get transmitted to the television?
Chromecast.
And that's
It's just
piece
a
of
Google
software on
Chrome.
your-
It's a dongle.
It's a dongle that you put in the back of the TV, is it?
Yeah.
And you control it from what, the television controller?
From your laptop.
Yeah, you've got a laptop.
Somebody needs a laptop.
Exactly.
So the pieces of equipment that you need, well, you need a television plugged into the wall, a Wi-Fi system, which we have, a dongle, which costs 30 quid, that's the Google Chromecast, and then you set up the Google Chromecast and you set it up using something like a mobile phone, so that it's on the network. And then you turn up with your computer and you cast whatever's on the top of the computer to your television.
So it's almost the same as a projector, except it's a television.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it works best out of Google Chrome, one of the browsers. And if you have Google Chrome, then there's a little icon on the top, which you probably never noticed. Or maybe it hasn't been there because the Chromecast hasn't been within range. But you simply click that and it will send the whole of your screen to the television.
Nice thing to have. If we can afford it. I think we should have a laptop as well, though.
Hang on, you've just changed tune, if you don't mind me saying.
And change what?
Tune.
I'm not sure I've been supportive of a laptop.
Oh, sorry,
I was against
it.
that.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So, and I've also looked at preferred laptop options.
Ballpark figures.
Yeah, we're looking at 1,400 quid.
For what, a laptop?
No, laptop and
Oh,
tablet.
okay, well, it's not
And
like
the
it's
tab.
all
That's
about
not
it.
Well, the telly that you looked at is what, 600-700 quid? 65 inch?
830, 65 inch.
65 inches.
It's not a great deal of money.
No,
What we're on
no.
30 quid for the Google,
Christ.
Yeah,
and then plug.
Well, we've got to have something. We've got to have
Yes.
That's Maple the second, not really any plans.
choice. Well, exactly.
The other question is where you put it.
Well, it's a projector or the-
Well, either. So I mean, Nick probably has views about this.
oh, yeah, no. I'm quite happy to hear everybody, the reason I raised it now is so that I can hear people's opinions.
The reason that this came up is that I have an office at work that I use as a sort of boardroom discussion room, which is not a million miles different in size from this one, perhaps slightly shorter. And I've got on the wall behind me there, I've got a 75-inch television, which is a huge thing. And when I put it up, everyone went, "Oh, it's far too big, far too big, far too big." But in fact, it isn't.
Retail.
It works fine. But obviously, it's completely useless for anybody on this side of the table. So it would mean reorientating the meeting, so that if you're using the television, it would be mostly round that sort of U shape of the table, and it would mean that you couldn't sit in full council and everybody look at the television.
If you went on that wall, it'd be too big, or two people down there, it'd be too
Well,
big.
that wall would be too small. The wall's too small.
Technically it's not.
Take a 65.
We've done it.
It certainly take a 65.
Yeah.
Could you not do full council from, like, the chair sits
You could.
just Susanna's?
But
Yeah.
the only thing that worries me is that a television over there on that wall
Not.
would be quite. You can just
far away.
fit bolt into the wall,
Yeah.
but the chairman would be. Like
Of
this.
course, no.
I don't think they're dangerous.
What's wrong with horses?
You need to pick a chair with a laptop and you've got sight.
Yeah, I'm not saying it will fall off, but
My preference would be that, but I mean my preference is nothing really.
Yeah.
But it does mean that if we ever
But
have
that's a
full
decision going to
meeting.
be made when we got it.
No.
No, it's going to be now because the
No.
electrician's wandering around with a screwdriver saying where should I put the plug?
the,
Right.
the benefit of a screen would be that it would be less vulnerable to, you know, less
I mean,
delicate.
pull down screen.
Yeah.
They are temperamental, then.
Are they?
Yeah.
It'd be a permanent
projectors
screen,
are.
doesn't have to be a pull down one, do
Okay.
it? Don't use that wall for anything else, do we?
No.
It would be-
Well,
I
I really
suggest you
want-
put it on that wall there.
What I really want from you guys is an agreement that Rob and I can go out and buy the kit.
I'll propose
I'll
that
say
you
Yes,
do.
yes.
Can we have a laptop and a
Yes, but
screen or a television?
yeah.
I think the telly is
Or
the
a projector?
preferred
Yeah.
option.
Yeah.
Now, I do have a problem, and it was something that Neil mentioned, was that if it's on that wall, it's very visible
That way, yeah.
from this end.
That's right.
From the windows.
Now, we've got secure, okay, that side's, no, it doesn't mean that, once that people know we've got one, it's going to be nick-worthy. Even Alex's, which weighs half a tonne, was
30 kilos, 40 kilos.
would be nick-worthy, would have to carry his downstairs. But this one, it's less of a problem. So, I mean, what are we going to do about that?
In that wall, they can see it at a
Why
glance.
don't we roll
If it's in here, it's
Why
going
don't
to
we
be
roll
easy.
Blind on there.
A blind is the
Yeah.
easy
No,
answer.
Yeah, I'm not-
£5 for a
On the flip
blind.
side, of all of it, someone's
Don't
going to
know.
watch that, and they know what's in this room, or someone comes to a meeting. Like it's just there's something nickable everywhere. There's a computer in the office already.
Right, you've got insurance.
So, put that on a back burner, then go out and buy
We're covered by
the
insurance.
I mean,
Yeah,
times.
that's
Get
right.
the burglar alarm in.
So you're happy with your specification, are you, Nick?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, so
I mean,
please. The police can come out.
I was keen on the 65
Lots
inch,
of businesses.
but
So television and laptop is what we're talking about, isn't it?
yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
But Alex is concerned about maintenance of the laptop.
If it's for the planning committee, I really don't need a laptop.
Well, no, it could be used for other things apart from the planning committee. There's all sorts of uses it could be put to in these meetings.
Finger one?
Right?
Finger one?
Yeah, I think of one. I'm thinking of neighbourhood plan presentations. I'm thinking about bringing
How many have you got
documents,
there?
passing around documents, and all we've got to do is put it on the.
But you must have a laptop.
No, I haven't.
I think
You have a laptop.
No, I've got a phone and a PC.
Well, you do it from the phone.
I don't want to do it on my phone.
Alright.
It's,
Can you do it from an iPad?
yes, I think you probably could. Oh, actually, could you? You can't Chromecast, can you?
I don't know.
Have you got a laptop?
I'd have to Google.
Have you got a
that.
laptop?
Yeah.
You can, because you need the dongle needs an input. I don't think your iPads have got on that.
It's Wi-Fi.
it's Wi-Fi.
You can do it from a telephone. So I'd be surprised if you couldn't do it.
No,
from
right,
a
crack on, crack on.
But if we don't have a laptop, it means that you're sort of putting yourself off his chair at the planning committee, definitely.
I can't be the only person in Wedmore that's got a laptop.
Right, okay, can I have a quick proposal, please? Bring up a proposal. So, at some point in the near future, Rod and I will go out and buy a suitable laptop, a suitable telly, and a Chromecast.
And
Blind.
a blind.
Blind.
Any particular colours?
Can I have a
Two
Dell?
blinds, one for here and one for
Dell
there.
laptop, please.
A Dell. I mean, I must admit, I've been looking at Asus and Hewlett Packards, only because they're preferred. Yeah, but...
About 1,300 quid if that's all right.
Why,
laptop?
Yes.
Depends on the size.
Why don't we-
One laptop.
why don't we just buy the telly to start with and usual laptop
Yeah.
for now
I think
and
that
get
would
the
be a
thing
better
up and
idea.
running and see if it all
Intermediate
works.
point,
Yeah.
intervening point. So we,
Yeah.
And then when we know it all works.
Right,
that's-
come on.
You can use
It's 5-2, guys. Is this? Oh, actually, no.
You can use Chrome.
Rob, you got anything?
Nothing at all, Chair.
Members, anything?
No.
Great. It's 5-2. Thanks everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Meeting's over.
Then a
5-2.
laptop.
No, they're more expensive than a laptop. £500.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.